good evening, whenever you're watching this video. So, this is part 2 of our geometry lessons, and this is the homework that I gave you at the end of yesterday's video. So if you haven't watched that, go back, watch part 1, and then watch this video either afterwards or tomorrow. Now, what we had to figure out here was we had to figure out what angle H was, what angle G was, and what angle L was. This is a lowercase l. Now, again, if you're watching this video and you're like, what are angles? Go back to yesterday's video and watch that, okay? Because in that video, I explain it. That's geometry part 1, okay? It's on my YouTube channel or it's on the Google Classroom. So watch that before watching this, because you won't be able to do this unless you watch part 1. Now, we learned yesterday that opposite angles are equal, okay? So here we're trying to figure out what H is. Well, we know the opposite angle is 118 degrees. So H is an opposite angle, so it must be the same. So it's 118 degrees. And yesterday we learnt that a straight line has a 180 degree angle. So a straight line from here all the way to here. So a straight angle is 180 degrees. Now we know that this part of the angle, this bit here that I'm highlighting in green, this part is 118. So whatever is left over here in G, whatever is left over between 118 and 180, whatever is left over between those two when we subtract them, that's what the angle G will be. So in total, it's 180 degrees, okay, for a straight line, 180 degrees. And this part of the angle is already taking up 118. So we have to subtract 180 and 118, which will be 62. So what's left is 62 degrees. Okay, so that means that G must be 62 degrees. I'll write that down here. I'll put it in black. So G must be 62 degrees. And L is opposite of G, and we just figured out what G is. So L is the same as G. Okay, because they're opposite angles, they're the same, they're equal. Now, same thing here, okay? Let's not try and figure out what J and L is straight away. First thing we want to figure out is what K is, because K is opposite 52 degrees, okay? And opposite angles are equal, so K must be 52 degrees. Now we have J and L. So let's look at this line here. I'll use a different color. Let's look. Imagine you turned your head all the way to the right, okay, and we're looking at this line here. And we're looking at these two angles, okay. So this part of the angle, this part is 52 degrees. So we want to figure out what this part is. So all we do is we take 180 and we subtract 52. Now that is 128. 128. 2 times that is, yeah, sometimes doing this mental math this early in the morning, I'm not great at. So we just figured out that L is 128 degrees. 128 degrees. And now L is opposite J, and opposite angles are equal, so J must also be 180 degrees. Now let's have a look over here at this one. Okay, so 33 degrees is opposite the angle Q. All right, so Q is an opposite angle of 33, so it must be 33 degrees. All right, because they are opposite angles, and opposite angles are equal. Now I'll use a different color. I will get a blue, and we are going to look at here to here. So our angle like that. Remember, a straight line is 180 degrees, and we just figured out that Q is 33 degrees. So all we do here is we take 180 degrees and we subtract 33 degrees from it. So 180 minus 33, that would be 147 degrees. So if Q is 33 degrees, P must be 147 degrees, because 147 added to 33 will give us 180. So that is 147 degrees. And P is opposite R, and opposite angles are equal, so 147 degrees. That's what R is as well. And that's how we do those ones. Okay, so we'll be doing a bit more of those. We'll practice a bit more of those tomorrow. But what I'd like you to look at now is these. Okay, so here we have a bunch of different angles, okay? And they should actually have a square like that. So here are a bunch of different angles. Now, we have to learn a couple of terms, a couple of words to describe angles, okay? So if an angle is less than 90 degrees, okay, this means less than. So say this angle, I'm just guessing, could be about 45 degrees. So if the angle is less than 90 degrees, it's a smaller number than 90, we call that angle acute, okay? So an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. If an angle is more than 90 degrees, so this, for example, this might be 120 degrees, I'm just guessing. So if an angle is obtuse, it is more than 90 degrees. And that's how we say this word, obtuse. Obtuse, okay? An obtuse angle is more than 90 degrees, all right? Now, yesterday we learned what a right angle is, and a right angle should always have one of these little corners in the corner, and that's how you know this is a right angle. A right angle is always 90 degrees. A straight line, we were just talking about this, a straight line is always 180 degrees. Okay? And the last one you need to know for the moment anyway, the last one is a reflex. Okay? A reflex angle is more than 180 degrees. So this could be 240 degrees, for example. Okay, you won't see many of these in junior cert, not until you get to 5th or 6th year. So this is a reflex angle. Okay, the most important ones to know are the first three. Okay, acute, obtuse, and right angle. All right, so I have attached a worksheet to the Google Classroom post for today, and your homework is to do the worksheet, and you should be able to fill it out on your phone. If you can't put your answers down on a piece of paper, take a photo and send it to me through Google Classroom, please. And all the worksheet is going through these types of angles and getting you to either draw them or to identify them, to name them. So the worksheet will have an angle that looks like this, and you'll have to say, okay, this is less than 90 degrees, so this is an acute. Or you'll see one that looks like this, and whenever you see this little bit here, you'll say, okay, that means that that's a right angle triangle. Sorry, a right angle. I'm getting ahead of myself. And then if you see one that looks like you're lazing back in a chair, that, well, you can say, oh, this is more than 90 degrees, so this must be obtuse. All right, that's all you have to do for homework. I'll see you tomorrow.